Hello, hello, and welcome to another installment of What If Video Games. This is a what if video games were made into a movie in the early 80s and 90s. The height of some of the best visual effects we had was around that period. So this is what we do. And so what game are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about a game I've absolutely loved since I was a little kid, and as hard as balls, Kid Icarus. That's right, Kid Icarus. The game where I think I prefer save states now. And the reason I enjoy save states, screw you all, this game is fun with save states. But if you try playing this legit, it's brutal. This is a brutal, brutal, brutal game. Absolutely fun. And a little story about me and Kid Icarus. When I first played Kid Icarus, I was I can't remember the exact age exactly, but I do remember I played it at my uncle's house. I used to go over there to spend the week because my uncle would take me in, and I'd spend the week there at his house. And he had that crappy water bed, and I got to sleep in the living in the bedroom on the crappy water bed, and he would crash on the couch. And he had a little TV, and all his gaming consoles were there. So I actually would just sit there playing video games all night. Not he would be passed out on the couch. That's kind of how I got into Kid Icarus. I played days of that, and I would turn off the TV, but leave the game on and leave it paused to go have breakfast, then come back and play more games. So let's get started. Our lead for Kid Icarus. Now, this has been a serious debate in my head all day today. I've been trying to figure out who I'm going to pick for that lead. And I had a young Johnny Depp. I had a young Val Kilmer was in my mind. And then it came to me. Leonardo DiCaprio. That is our lead. Probably the best lead, I think, for this, especially because this would be the movie that he literally got his start in. Because I think his first official movie was somewhere in the 90s. So 89, he'd be about 15 at the time, I think. So that would be a good starting for him. And that would be like his first ever movie would be a major fantasy. I think that would be an awesome thing for him to have that starring role. And, Leonardo was not exactly a bad actor. Like, a lot of people seem to give him a little gripe when he was a kid, but I think he was one of the better child actors at the time. He was no Macaulay Culkin, which, Macaulay was actually quite a good actor. And, there's the other two guys that were, I can't remember their name now. Lost Boy guys. I can't remember their name. Shit, that's going to bug me. The kids, a couple of the kids from Goonies might work too, but I think I'm sticking with Leonardo. Leonardo's my main pick. So, who are we going to get for our leading lady? Yes, Athena, the warrior goddess, the one who helps Pip get his wings, and the one who fights against the evil Gorgons. Now this is going to be a tough one, but I think I got an idea for everybody. Someone that I was thinking in the back of my brain, I kind of want. I didn't really see her in much roles after this, and that's Tammy Stornarch? I hope I said that right. God, I gotta Google these names first. You guys might know her more as the childlike empress from Neverending Story. Yeah, this is kind of a geek moment here for me, but I think I like this to be my lead actress. I think she'd be a perfect role. And yeah, why not? Why not have this fantasy character portraying this awesome fantasy role? I think she'd be around, I think she'd be close to the perfect age for this. And then you get her some combat training, showing that she is a skilled combat person. Make her a little tougher than the average Joe, but make her skilled enough that doesn't look like she's too powerful. I think it'd be perfect. And I would love to see this actress back in another role. So now, the leader of the Gorgons, Medusa. the powerful queen who takes down the Olympian gods and causes all the carnage and sets our young hero on his adventure, my pick is B. Arthur. Hear me out. She's a great actress, and she's really good. And I'd love to see her in that evil, evil role. Someone who just basically says, yeah, this is great. This is what we need. This is someone I think that could play the role, play a good role, and be a really dastardly. I think she'd work perfect for this role as leading villain. Yeah, absolutely perfect. So, what's next for us? Visual effects. And this has been a little bit of an interesting one. I usually like to go with my mainstay, Jim Henson, but I think I'm going to go with Steve Johnson, the guy who worked on Ghostbusters. Yeah, let's make this a little bit of a dark fantasy. Why not? Working with other people, I think he'd be great. And I mean, we're looking at a good budget here. We're looking at someone that actually pulled this off. And I think you add a couple other effect artists, and I think this would be great. And yeah, no, this would be perfect. I think we got ourselves the one thing we need. Now, last but not least, we have our soundtrack. The people who are going to make this movie awesome. So I had an idea for this. We're going to go a little bit where before he climbs Mount Olympus, again, we're kicking into story arcs, but we will get to story arcs next. I'm thinking we have it that the music's fine, and then we go to this really surreal, crazy music. And some really off-the-top, unique music. And there's no band I can't think of that was around during that period than Goblin. Goblin, yes, that is the band I want to put. The reason I want to put Goblin on there is because they're so good and they're really creepy in some ways. I'll put music up there for you guys. I'll put it in the description, one of their YouTube channels. They do amazing music. And I think they'd be perfect for this. I'll also put up my runner-up, the guy who did Willow, as well. I don't want to get any YouTubers in trouble. So that is our pick. For music, we have ourselves a movie, but we gotta add one little timbit more. That would be the story. So, our story, at least how I envision it. So this will be not a long one, I'm hoping, but you never know. Sometimes I go a little long and crazy with these story arcs. So, we'll see how it goes. So, the story for this movie. I got an idea. Leonardo is out with his dad hunting. He's traveling. He finds a girl laying on some beds of roses or whatever you want to put her on, like just somewhere where she runs into Athena, and Athena kicks his butt because he gets close, and then they kind of hang out with each other, start talking. He brings her home, and that's when, as they're having like that calm period. That's when he ends up they end up getting attacked by a bunch of gorgons, and the big old B. Arthur shows up wearing this cool snake thing where a head snake moves and all type of stuff, and she turns Leo's family to stone and takes Athena away. Athena tries to save him, so she surrenders so that he doesn't get caught. She leaves a little medallion. Now, our kid Icarus finds this medallion, and he's like, oh, okay. Looks at it, and it pops up this thing that he has to get this magical golden arrow, and that she left him another gift. And as he looks outside, he finds the bow. The magical bow that he's going to use to fight the evil. And then he begins his journey to Mount Olympus. And that's where we started off. And as he's traveling up the mountain, he finds a wide cast of characters from the original video game. You can slowly build up to some interesting fights. You can have him firing off arrows. Maybe he only has a couple interesting arrows that he gets off someone before he travels up. And there we go. We got ourselves, as he's traveling up, you get that music shift to going into Goblin. And more like what the Goblin likes to do. loose, jokey fantasy. Then you get that wow into the dark, gritty, kind of really crazy music that I really like hearing. And then you just kind of slowly build up that. I think the rush into death could be cool. You could even have death guarding an item or something like that, or something he needs. Maybe the golden arrow, maybe the shield. I don't know if I dropped the shield. And he travels up, and then he faces Medusa, slays her, and bam, there you go. You got yourself your Kid Icarus. The only problem I have is where the hell do you put those wings in? Like, do you give it to him right away? Are they like super powered and he flies up with these super wings? Does he lose the wings? Do we have him have these crappy little joke wings the entire time? I don't know. I think it'd be a fun thing. Like, having him travel and going into like certain places and finding certain things would be kind of fun. It's going to suck for him to have a solo journey though, and I've had a little bit of a fight about that. Where do we put other people in? Do we put like side characters? I even thought as a joke we put in the evil that is Eggplant Wizard. Oh, I hate that fucking guy. Anyone who's played that game knows what I'm talking about. But it would be kind of fun, like maybe him running into other folklore creatures. Like I would put some folklore in this. I wouldn't put all the video game monsters because, they just wouldn't work. But some of them could. And I think some of the folklore creatures would be kind of fun, adding some weird, interesting stuff. You could even put like the Minotaur in there, or some other Greek or Roman fantasy creatures. Like, you could really have fun with this. Even having some people that he meets that everyone's turned to stone, and meeting other people. It's an interesting idea and something I've been kind of trying to figure what I'd want to do with this movie. This movie is really would be a fun thing to play on. And I think I got it figured out. What do you think? What would you want to see in a Kid Icarus movie? Like, subscribe. Thank you very much, everybody. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And I will see you on the next Orc Warchief Reviews.